हुआ हाँ मैं अनम्यूट कर दूँ पूछा क्या आवाज चली म्यूट करे मैंने के म्यूट कर करीब आवाज चली So let us start with the chronic otitis media. And by definition, the chronic otitis media is definitely the chronic inflammation of the mucosa of the middle ear cleft. It is the chronic inflammation of the mucosa of the middle ear cleft. This chronic otitis media is basically caused by the acute otitis media. If the acute otitis media is not treated properly, then this may change after a period of time of about 6 weeks into the chronic otitis media. So when the acute otitis media is not treated properly, then after 6 weeks, the acute otitis media changes into the chronic otitis media. The acute inflammation of the middle ear, the mucosa of the middle ear cleft will change into the chronic inflammation of the mucosa of the middle ear cleft, and that will be known as the chronic otitis media. Now, there are two types of the chronic otitis media. One is the tubotympanic disease or tubotympanic type, and second is the एटिकोएंट्रल type. Now, अगर आप थोड़ा सा इसमें गौर करें तो ट्यूबो मीन्स यूस्टेशन ट्यूब, tympanic means middle ear cavity. When in the disease, the middle ear cavity is involved by the infection through the eustachian tube, then it is called the tubotympanic type of the disease. Etic means the upper portion, the superior portion. छत, किसी भी कमरे की छत को अगर हम देखें तो उसको बोलते हैं एटिक. तो मिडिल ईयर में जो सुपीरियर पोर्शन है छत की तरह, that is known as the attic. Antrum means middle ear, antrum means the mastoid antrum. So when the superior portion of the mastoid antrum is involved in the disease, then it is called the eticoantral disease. So tubotympanic and the eticoantral type of the diseases. So today we will go on the tubotympanic type of the disease. But before that, we should know that which one is common. Either it is a tubotympanic or it is the eticoantral. What do you think? What it is? Definitely it will be a tubotympanic disease because it is caused by the acute otitis media, which occurs into the children and they get more upper respiratory tract infections, primarily viral, which are changed into the bacteria. So the common is the tubotympanic disease due to the more viral infections into the upper respiratory tract, because this disease is caused by the infection through the eustachian tube. Now, which one is dangerous? Tubotympanic or eticoantral? The eticoantral is more dangerous because it will cause more complications. जब हम eticoantral पढ़ेंगे तो हमें पता चलेगा कि ये complications ज़्यादा क्यों होती है. लेकिन as far as the eticoantral disease have got more complications, so dangerous one is eticoantral, but common is the tubotympanic. Now, pathologically, if we see that in this disease, there is a permanent perforation into the middle ear, into the tympanic membrane. Why the perforation is permanent? Because whenever there is the pus collection into the middle ear cavity, that pus will cause pressure on the tympanic membrane. It will cause the necrosis of that part of the tympanic membrane. So this necrosed part perforates due to the pressure of the pus, because this necrosed part is a very weak part. Now there will be it will be an irregular perforation. अगर हम इंसिशन लगाएं तो एक रेगुलर परफोरेशन बनेगी, जिसके जो है वो दोनों एजेस होंगे, वो दोनों एजेस एक दूसरे के करीब होंगे, तो ये आपस में जो है वो उनका मिलाप इजी होगा। जब उनका मिलाप इजी होगा तो हीलिंग भी बहुत अच्छी होगी। लेकिन एज फार एज इन दिस डिजीज द perforation is irregular and it is in the necrosed part of the tympanic membrane. So what happens that the skin from the outer portion of the tympanic membrane will move towards the edges, and the mucosa from the middle ear portion of the tympanic membrane will move towards the edges. They will meet together and these edges will be healed. So when these edges are healed, then there is no question of further healing. So it will cause the permanent perforation. I repeat it once again. Permanent perforation is always permanent because due to the healing of the edges of the perforation. Now, whenever there is a healing of the edges of the perforation, from inside the mucosa comes out, from outside the skin comes in, they meet together and they form a permanent perforation because there is a healing of the edges of the perforation. So whenever there is a healing of the edges of the perforation, there is always a permanent perforation. What will be the type of perforation? This is the disease where there is always central perforation. Mind it. Whenever there is a central perforation with the discharging ear, it is always and always in 90% of the cases, it is a tubotympanic disease. So the type of perforation is the central perforation. Mucosa of the middle ear will be red, congested, and edematous. There will be redness due to the inflammation. There will be the congestion due to the vasodilatation of the blood vessels, and there will be the swelling and edema of the mucosa. So mucosa will be red, congested, and edematous. What about ossicles? Ossicles are not damaged. In 90% of the cases, the ossicles are not damaged into the tubotympanic type of the disease. But in 10% of the cases, yes, there may be the damage of the ossicles, and the commonest ossicle to be damaged is the long process of incus. You note it that in 90% of the cases, the ossicles are normal, but in 10% of the cases, the long process of the incus will be involved and it will be necrosed. So ossicles की position क्या होगी? 90% में normal, 10% में necrosis of the long process of incus. There may be the formation of polyp into the middle ear. What is polyp? Actually, polyp is the edematous mucosa of the middle ear. When there is edema of the mucosa of the middle ear, it will definitely be come out through the perforation, just like a polypoidal mass which will hang into the external artery canal. So this polyp is actually the edematous middle ear mucosa, which comes out through the perforation of the tympanic membrane and comes into the external auditory canal. So this is an edematous mucosa of the middle ear that comes into the external auditory canal, and this is called the polyp. In tubotympanic type of the disease, the polyp is always yellowish in color. It is not red in color. It is always yellowish in color due to the chronic inflammation. What will be the type of the mastoid in this disease? There are different types. If we take the X-ray of the mastoid, there are different types. One is the cellular mastoid, where you can appreciate on X-ray the different mastoid cells. And number two is acellular mastoid or sclerotic mastoid. The sclerosis of the mastoid occurs whenever there is a chronic infection, and that chronic infection leads to the formation of the new bone into the mastoid, and that bone shows as a sclerosis, which is the white in color. If we take that, we will see on the X-ray, it will be white in color completely, and this is known as the sclerotic mastoid. So two types of mastoids, cellular and sclerotic. But in this disease, in 90% of the cases, the mastoid is cellular because there is no entry of infection into the mastoid hair cells into the 90% of the cases. This is the disease of Eustachian tube and the middle ear cavity. In this disease, in 90% of the cases, the mastoid hair cells are normal because the infection does not reach up to the mastoid hair cells. So it will be a cellular mastoid. So repeat once again, the permanent perforation into the tympanic membrane, which is a central perforation. The mucosa of the middle ear is red, congested, and edematous. Ossicles are normal, but sometimes there is the necrosis of the long process of incus. There will may be the middle ear polyp, which is the edematous mucosa of the middle ear cavity, and the type of the mastoid is always cellular in 90% of the cases where the mastoid hair cells are not involved. What could be the bacteria involved? अब acute otitis media में जो बैक्टीरिया इन्वॉल्व होते हैं वही जाहिर है बैक्टीरिया क्रॉनिक में भी होंगे. स्टेप्टोकोकस, स्टेफलोकोकस, नीमोकोकस, एच इन्फ्लुएंजी, मोलिक्सोला कटारेलिस, जो मैंने आपको पहले बताए थे. लेकिन इसमें एक बैक्टीरिया एडिशनल है, वो क्रॉनिक डिजीज की वजह से है, दैट इज सूडोमोनास. एंड इन मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द केसेस द commonest organism involved in the disease is always Pseudomonas. So the commonest organism involved in this disease is always Pseudomonas. Otherwise, you can see the Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, Pneumococcus, H. influenzae, Molecular Catarrhales. So these are the bacteria which are involved. But the commonest and most important is the Pseudomonas. It is a gram-negative bacteria. What could be the clinical features? Number one, about pain. क्या इसमें पेन होगा? What do you think? There will be no pain because in the chronic disease, in any chronic disease, the pain is not present because the disease is chronic. There is a diseased process for a longer period of time, and that may cause the damage to the pain receptors which are present in that area. तो अगर पेन रिसेप्टर्स ही डैमेज हो जाएंगे तो पेन कहाँ से होगा? So in about 90% of the cases, or you may say in the majority of the cases, the pain is not positive. The pain is not present. But if the pain is present, then this is always due to the complication. क्या complication हो सकती है which causes the pain? That is otitis externa. Because the pus is present into the external auditory canal, and that pus will cause the inflammation of the skin of the external auditory canal. There will be swelling of the skin of the external auditory canal, and there is inflammation of the skin of the external auditory canal due to the presence of pus, because pus contains bacteria, and that swelling and edema of the skin of the external auditory canal will cause pain. So in majority of the cases, routinely, there is no pain, but in certain cases where there is a complication like otitis externa, there will be the pain. Number two is the discharge. Now, in this type of the disease, the discharge is always thin, profuse. What do you mean by profuse? Means more, much more in number, much more discharge. So thin discharge, profuse discharge, mucopurulent discharge. Mucopurulent क्या है? Mucus contained into the pus. Means the pus and the mucus from the mucous membrane of the middle ear and the pus due to the activation of the bacteria. They both together they form the mucopurulent discharge. So this is thin, this is profuse, this is mucopurulent. It is non-foul smelling. Foul smelling नहीं होती. It is not foul smelling. It is not blood stained. So the discharge is thin, profuse, and mucopurulent only. Thin, profuse, and mucopurulent only. The third thing is deafness. What type of deafness there will be? Definitely there is the problem in the tympanic membrane. There is perforation in the tympanic membrane. There is problem sometimes into the ossicles due to the necrosis of the long process of incus. तो अगर ये कंडक्शन प्रॉब्लम होगी तो कौन सी डेफनेस होगी? कंडक्टिव डेफनेस होगी. So no pain or pain if present is due to the otitis externa, the thin profuse mucopurulent discharge, conductive type of the deafness. मैंने पहले भी आपको बताया there is always a central perforation. And the tuning fork test. The tuning fork test will show you that tuning fork test हम आगे पढ़ेंगे बिल्कुल आखिर में. Then tuning fork test will show you that this if the patient is having the conductive type of deafness. The tuning fork tests are done to see that whether the deafness is conductive or sensory neural. So these tuning fork tests will show you that there is the conductive type of the deafness. So no pain or pain due to otitis externa, thin profuse mucopurulent discharge, conductive type of the deafness, central perforation, and the tuning fork test shows the conductive type of the deafness. Now here we can see that this is the perforation and this is the perforation. Now the edges of this perforation, these are surrounded by the remnants of the tympanic membrane. ये tympanic membrane कैसा बचा हुआ है? ये बचा हुआ है, ये बचा हुआ है, ये बचा हुआ है, ये बचा हुआ है. So these are all the remnants of the tympanic membrane. So when the perforation is surrounded by the remnants of the tympanic membrane, then it is called the central perforation. And this definitely touches the periphery of the tympanic membrane and the tympanic sulcus. So this is the marginal perforation. So in this disease, you will have the central perforation. आपसे पूछ सकते हैं कि what is central perforation? Then the perforation which is surrounded by the remnants of the tympanic membrane, then this is called the central perforation. And the perforation which involves the tympanic sulcus, this is called the marginal perforation. So this is the central perforation which is present into the bulbotympanic type of disease. Now, if the patient comes to you, then what type of the investigations you would like to have? The one is oral swab. Why you take an oral swab? You take an oral swab for the culture and sensitivity because this swab will contain the pus. This pus will be cultured and you will see that what antibiotics are sensitive to this type of the bacteria. Number one. Number two, this will show you that what type of bacteria are involved. So two things you can see by the culture and sensitivity. One is the culture of the bacteria that what type of bacteria is involved, and other is the sensitivity of the antibiotic against that bacteria. So this is known as the culture and sensitivity. So oral swab you will take for the culture and sensitivity to know the type of bacteria and to know the sensitive antibiotic. You will go for X-ray mastoid to see that whether it is cellular or it is sclerotic, because the treatment options will be changed if the mastoid will be involved, and the treatment options will be changed if the mastoid air cells are not involved. So in majority of the cases, the mastoid air cells are not involved. You will go for audiometry. Audiometry is the investigation which will show you again that whether this is what type of deafness, whether it is the sensory neural deafness or it is the conductive deafness. अब conductive deafness क्या है? वो deafness जो conduction के pathway में आता है, जो abnormality conduction के pathway में आती है. Whenever there is abnormality to the tympanic membrane, whenever there is abnormality into the ossicles, or whenever there is abnormality in the middle ear cavity, this will give you the conductive deafness. अगर ये deafness है, तो then we can revert it back to normal by any surgery or by any treatment. But if the sensory neural hearing loss is there, it means that the nerve is involved. The cochlear nerve is involved. So when the nerve is involved, we cannot do anything except that उसको जो है वो hearing aid पहना दिया जाए. So the treatment option again will be changed. Sometimes what happens that in these type of the patients, there is a conductive deafness, but in some patients there is a sensory neural deafness also. Why there is sensory neural deafness? Because the internal ear is also involved in these type of the patients. Why? Because pus is present into the middle ear. In the middle ear, there is a round window, and which is covered by the round window membrane. So whenever there is inflammation of the middle ear, mucosa, this round window membrane is also involved, and there will be the inflammation of the round window membrane. Whenever there is inflammation of the round window membrane, then it becomes more permeable to the pus which is present into the middle ear cavity. So when the pus goes through the round window membrane into the internal ear, it will damage the cochlear nerve and will cause the sensory neural deafness. So before going to the treatment, it is very important that you should know, to go for the audiometry, you should know that whether it is a conductive deafness or the sensory neural deafness, because the treatment options are changed. Now this is the X-ray of the mastoid region. This shows that this is the external auditory meatus, right? This is the post-meatal wall. The meatus है extraordinary canal, external auditory meatus, and this is the bony area, which is the post-meatal wall. And this is the tegmentum penni, which is the atic region of the mastoid antrum. This is the tip of the mastoid. And if you will go meet these two things, it will be just like a triangle. So this mastoid antrum is a triangular area which is present into the squamous part of the mastoid bone. So this is called the mastoid. Now this mastoid contains air cell. Now this black air cell, this black air cell, this black air cell, this black air cell, this one, this one. So there are so many blackish spots which are the air cells, and these are separated from each other by these whitish bands. This is the bony septa. So these air cells, they are all present but separated from each other by these bony septa. Now what will happen? This is a cellular mastoid which is present into the tubotympanic of the disease. But if this black air cell changes into the bone, this black air cell changes into the bone, this black air cell changes into the bone, then this all will become white. And this just like this. And when it is white like this, for whole of the mastoid area is like this white, then it is called the sclerotic mastoid. So this mastoid is a cellular mastoid, which is always present into the tubulotympanic type of the disease. But in certain cases, the mastoid air cells may be involved. Now, what could be the treatment? Now, definitely there is infection, there is pus formation, so you'll go for the systemic antibiotic, but according to the culture and sensitivity. You will take the culture and sensitivity report through the oral swab, and after that, you will prescribe the systemic antibiotic. You will go for the topical antibiotic also. Topical means in the form of the ear drops. These ear drops will work by two methods. One is that it contains the eardrop, contains the antibiotic. So the bacteria which are present into the external auditory canal or even into the middle ear cavity, this antibiotic locally will kill those bacteria. Systemic antibiotic को वहाँ पहुँचते हुए टाइम लगता है, because वो पहुँचती है ब्लड के थ्रू. लेकिन this topical antibiotic will work very soon because it goes directly towards the bacteria. So we will go for the topical antibiotic, same according to the culture and sensitivity. These topical antibiotics are sometimes mixed with the steroids, and these are the best antibiotics which are mixed with the steroids, because steroid is a strong anti-inflammatory medicine. And when you are giving the steroid, it means that you are giving a strong anti-inflammatory drug. So if you are giving a strong anti-inflammatory drug, it means that you are decreasing the inflammation in the quickest possible time. Then after giving all these things, you will go for the oral toilet also. Oral toilet means कान की सफाई. The pus which is present into the extraoratory canal, you will have to remove that pus, because if in the pus you will install the topical drops, that will be damaged, that will be finished into the pus. उनकी concentration ही decrease हो जाएगी, so they will be non-functional. So before using the topical antibiotic, it is very important that you should remove the pus which is present into the external auditory canal. So oral toilet is very important. Now treat the foci of infection. Where the foci are present. As I have told you that this is the disease like tubotympanic disease. The disease comes through Eustachian tube. So the foci of infection is always into the pharynx and into the nasopharynx or into the nose. So either the patient has got the deviated nasal septum or DNS, patient may have got the rhinitis, patient may have got the rhinitis, the patient may have got the tonsillitis, the patient may have got the pharyngitis, the patient may have got the adenoids. So all are the foci of infection. So all these foci of infection, you will have to decide that where is the focus of infection. अगर adenoids है तो you will go for the treatment of adenoids. अगर pharyngitis है तो you will go for the treatment of pharyngitis. अगर tonsillitis है तो you will go for the treatment of tonsillitis. So all these things are very important, and definitely you will go for the treatment of the foci of infection first. This is very, very important. Now there is tympanoplasty. What is tympanoplasty? Tympanoplasty is the repair of the eardrum and ossicles by a graft. We will take the graft and we will repair the damaged eardrum and ossicles. So the procedure by which you repair the damaged eardrum and ossicles, then this procedure is known as the tympanoplasty. So if there is a conductive type of the hearing loss, and you think that this hearing loss is due to either the perforation or due to the involvement of the ossicles, then you will go for the tympanoplasty. But if on X-ray the mastoid air cells are also involved, then it is very important that these involved air cells should be removed, because this is a focus of infection again. So you have to go for the cortical mastoidectomy in order to remove only the diseased air cells which are present into the mastoid antrum. So this is called the cortical mastoidectomy. But this cortical mastoidectomy is needed only in very few patients where the mastoid antrum is involved. So I repeat it once again: the systemic antibiotic, the topical antibiotic with steroids, oral toilet, treat the foci of infection in the neighborhood. Tympanoplasty, if there is the central perforation of the tympanic membrane, or there is the damage to the long process of incus, and there is the conductive hearing loss, and the cortical mastoidectomy, where the mastoid air cells are involved. Now, what could be the complications of this disease? You know that there may be the oral polyp, and this oral polyp is actually the edema of the middle ear, which comes out into the external auditory canal through the perforation in the form of a polyp. So oral polyp is a complication. Otitis externa, if the pus is present into the external auditory canal, that will cause the inflammation of the external auditory canal skin and will cause the otitis externa. Then there is the necrosis of the ossicular chain. As I told you that if there is a necrosis of the ossicular chain, it is the long process of incus which is involved. So these are three complications: either the oral polyp, either the otitis externa, and the necrosis of the ossicular chain. Now this is the ear. This one is the ear. This is the external auditory canal, and you can see the yellowish mass which is present into the external auditory canal. If you will take the probe, you can pass the probe all around this swelling, because this swelling is coming from the middle ear cavity. There is no attachment of this swelling into the external auditory canal. So you can pass the oral probe all around this mass, this fleshy mass, and it is yellowish in color, and this is called a polyp. Now you may see there that there is swelling of the pinna, there is swelling of the external auditory canal. You can see the pus coming out, and there is inflamed and redness of the external auditory opening also, and the whole of the opening is totally blocked due to the swelling of this external auditory canal. So this is called otitis externa. So this is all about the chronic otitis media, and if there is any question, you may ask the question. Is there any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you tell about the oral toilet again?
The oral toilet is that you should, when you remove the pus from the external auditory canal by any method, like suction, like syringing, like cotton bud, anything. If you wash the external auditory canal and you remove the pus from the external auditory canal, then it is called oral toilet.
Okay, sir.
Any other question?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is there any difference between irrigation and oral toilet?
No, there is no difference between irrigation. Irrigation is basically by the solution, right? So if you use the solution or water into the extra-articular, then it is called irrigation. But if you do not use the water or any solution like you use the suction, then it is, or a cotton bud, then it is called the oral toilet. This is the difference. Any other question?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.